Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Séance of Blake Manor. A couple of days have passed for me. Of course, no time has passed in the game so far. And yeah, I've been was able to think a little bit about what I want to do next and how I want to proceed. I'm a little worried still. I'm not making fast enough progress with my people here. So far, I've only managed to convince 5 people to not attend the seance, and 2 more I have in the works. Parenthesis, Besishim, I can't finish right now because I need to attend, access to the basement, which I don't have currently. I probably only have that on the next day during the delivery while that's moved in the basement. I'll have to do my best to find that urn and destroy it. And Mr. Bra, still not sure who my other stand-in would be. Still the stand-in as a representative of Saint Bridget. And the only person so far that I know has a strong connection to Saint Bridget is Mrs. Joyce. But she is so much against all this supernatural stuff that I'm not even sure I can convince her to take part in a ceremony like this. Like, for her, it's really just devil stuff. So I was hoping that someone like Miss McLeod, for example, as another person who's Irish, maybe even Miss Murphy, that one of them would, or the Callahans. But there was nothing there so far. I hope I can still figure that out. Also I noticed that I have 0 of 10 facts unlocked about Mr. Doyle, apparently. And yeah, unfortunately, I've hit dead ends for a lot of them, either by not having room keys, so I can investigate their rooms, or all the personnel, I can basically only investigate. Again, when I have access to the basement, because all their rooms are there, all the quarters. And yeah, basically, I have 3 things from. I would say there are 3 things that I can do right now. I can do a lot of research in the library, which might help or might not. It could help me with a couple different people, depending on what exactly we find there. Then I should definitely do some more talking to Mr. Scared. I might be able to finish him, because all I have to do is finish profiling him. And the last connection is the Seance Ghost, and we also have the Suicide and Ceremonial Dagger. And he was very worried about his legacy. So I was hoping that it won't take an awful lot to get him to a point where I can form a hypothesis and confront him and try and get him out of the way. The other person, of course, is Mr. O'Mara, who also needs his profiling done. And it's basically the same. Try to get the profiling done. Maybe we need a little more of that, because there's still a lot of stuff in the unclear. So yeah. I'm currently have 18 minutes before 9 p.m. And at 9 p.m. the ball starts. So I'm a little torn. What I should do. I think I should commit to one thing. Either go to the library or go and talk to people, because I believe there's a lot of people in the bar right now. Yeah. Like my people of interest and a couple other people who I could talk to. Some people in the library as well. Like I was talk to Miss Quinn. I think I haven't talked to her at all. I'm so torn. I'm incredibly torn. Okay. I mean, I think is it smarter to talk to people? It feels smarter to talk to people. Okay, you know what? Okay. I'm sorry. Let me try going to the library at least for a little bit. Like, the good thing is that not all research costs me time. Only certain researching certain topic costs me time. So just try and go to the library. Then maybe go to the bar. Okay, what we have here? Religion. Anything important we can research here. Copies of the Bible sit here with core texts of other faiths. It's interesting to see this so openly displayed. To some it would be blasphemous. Is there anything I want to look up? Good thing is all these cost me nothing. The first four cost me nothing. Celtic religious symbols. There are a number of designs synonymous with Celtic culture and spirituality. I'll list here a few. Letters Callion, 3 spirals joined together at their outermost points at the center of the design. Thought to represent the physical world, the spirit world, and the afterlife, or alternatively, birth, life, and death. The triquetra, an ancient symbol of a tri-pointed endless knot, now understood to represent the Holy Trinity. The Dara knot, a complicated square knot without end, associated with Saint Patrick, patron saint of Ireland. The Dara knot is a symbol of unity and peace. Okay, Samhain. Samhain. Approximately Samhain is a Gaelic festival traditionally occurring on the 1st of November, towards the end of the harvest season at the beginning of winter. Believed to be born of pagan tradition, the festival represents a time in the year where the boundaries between the mundane world and the other world would weaken. And as such, many traditions associated with the festival are thought to be protective, to ward away the spirits that would otherwise broach the boundary and cause the living harm. During this time, spirits were to be appeased with offerings of food and drink, so that they would leave the living in peace throughout the rest of the year. Adrai. The native Irish word for a traditional practitioner of magic and ritual, Adrai, pronounced Adri, might be considered equivalent to a wizard or sorcerer, perhaps one with religious prestige within the community. However, the nature remained the source of speculation, as they remain a feature of antiquity. While the author of this book has encountered rumor of their continued existence, I was unable to verify their truthfulness. Okay, pagan sacred rites. While much of the knowledge of sites of religious significance to the pre-Christian pagans has been lost, there are several that have been identified across the country. Stone circles, apparently constructed for ritual purpose, abound, and burial sites such as those found in Newgrange suggest a reverence for the movement of the heavens. Some old sacred sites seem to have been co-opted into modern tradition, as there remains a tradition of lone oak trees being best left undisturbed, so as not to upset otherworldly spirits. A superstition which does not hold the same prevalence and longevity in other parts of the United Kingdom. Okay, Gnosticism. An early branch of Christianity that took me a minute, so it has to be significant, that believes that the material realm we currently reside in is a hell, what they call the Black Iron Prison, and that the being commonly seen as God is in fact a powerful but lesser demiurge, a version of the traditional devil figure. Wait, they believe that God is actually the devil? I didn't know it, if I'm understanding that right. Isn't that what that says? I mean, honestly, that's what I thought I had as well. Like, that is just something that for me flips a lot of the way the world is explaining Christianity on its head, and say, yeah, we actually live in hell, and the being we believe to be God is actually the devil. Especially when you consider, I mean, it's complicated because there's just so much time has passed, and there's so many translations and interpretations all over, and like there's this evidence that like names and depictions of demons in Christianity have been sourced from, or like it's like inspired from various other cultures, particularly Middle Eastern. So it's kind of, you know, it's not like there's one definitive answer there. But for example, if you take one where Lucifer and Satan are actually not the same person, like Lucifer is a fallen angel, an angel that had been cast out of heaven for going against the rules and going against the rule of God. It's an interesting thought to think that as a former angel, he would still deal in light and could utilize it. And when you then think about, you know, God or heavenly beings represented or as a light source, that has me wondering, okay, how do you know that's God and that's not actually Lucifer talking to you? When they say, oh, there was a light and then a voice and it must be God. So, yeah, how do you know it's not Lucifer? When he is a former angel, kind of also utilize the light. You know, again, it's... But basically, I'm sorry to don't want to offend anyone who's religious, but to me that it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's just so much convoluted stuff going on there that has just a mass accumulation of all kinds of different interpretations and whatnot that have happened over 2,000 years. It's just one big mess and doesn't make any sense left, right, and center. The demiurge is the sacred child of some eons, the faith's creator angels, that was hidden in this realm by its parent for fear of retaliation from the true creator. Bored, lonely, and jealous, it created humanity to worship it as a god, but it itself was flawed, and thus so are we, its creations. I believe that the only actual way to ascend into heaven and meet the true creator, Mona, is to realize the falsities of this reality and find a way to break free of this plane of material lies. The faith seems to exist as an answer to the question, why does God allow bad things to happen? With their response being, true God does not know of this place. Interesting. An interesting interesting branch of Christianity that I don't remember hearing. Maybe I've heard about it in the past, but there's like so many. I mean, I've read The Name of the Rose and like from Umberto Eco, and like in there about 200 different like Christian faith groups are mentioned. So maybe it was mentioned in there, but it's like among 200 of them, and I'm like, again, it's at the end it's more or less all the same to me. It's all bullshit. Okay. Section on the Blake family, their lineages and their lands. Is there anything I want to look up? And yes, I have also seen that I have important books at my research station. I still want to go to the bookshelves. Look at the Blake family. Originally of the English Blakes, the branch of the family now resident in Ireland's Connacht region. are descendants of the illustrious war veteran Edward Blake, who served during the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland. In reward for his service and valor, Blake was rewarded some of the seized land, on which he built the manor now known as Blake Manor. While there are, it must be admitted, a number of ghoulish tales about Edward Blake and his subsequent family line, these should not be paid heed, for surely they indicate nothing more than superstition and occasional local unrest. Did I read about Percival Blake already? I believe Percival was the one who walled up a maid and her lover because the maid rejected him, right? 25 died of old age. He ruled for the great free city of slowly up and rising. Yeah, okay. Alright, Mary Blake. After her marriage to Jonathan Blake, the Marquis of Doon, in 1881, she gained the title of Marchioness. Marchioness Blake established the Blake Foundation in 1890. Through the foundation, the Marchioness constructed and funded several orphanages, wrecked schools, and the widows' almshouses in impoverished rural towns and villages across Connacht. The Marchioness committed much of the Blake fortune to the foundation and organized fundraising events across Ireland and Great Britain. She spent her free time teaching English in one of the foundation's local schools and privately funded the university education of over 40 pupils. Marchioness Blake took up a position of philanthropist and charity worker, acting as a pillar of her community and the very image of a God-fearing woman until her death in 1894. Okay, Walter Blake? Nothing about Walter Blake yet? Okay, yeah, he's the one, the young one is still alive. Okay, that makes sense. Jonathan Blake? Is it that? Current Marquis of Doon and 9th person to hold the title. The title was passed down to him by Richard Blake, son of William Blake. William Blake was seen to be a stern and ruthless man who would do anything for the betterment of his family. Richard Blake's was considered quite the opposite. His interest kept him from the manor, and on his passing in Paris, Jonathan Blake opened the grounds as a hotel in 1817 to help revitalize the land's post-famine. Not much else is recorded about him. He doesn't seem to have undertaken many other exploits. Okay, Wilhelmina Blake. Wilhelmina August Blake was born in 1788 to Thomas Blake, the 6th Marquis of Doon. She disappeared without a trace on the night of October 29th, 1828. She had a passion for music. Oh, that was the one with the urn, right? She had a passion for music. From an early age, was often called upon to entertain her father's guests with a piano. I believe I've read that already. Once disappeared, yeah. Okay, that one we read already. She was the one with the urn. Edward Blake. Edward Blake, 1630 to 1703, was an Englishman serving in the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland by the then English Commonwealth. He was a notable figure among the English forces and was credited for his success by Cromwell himself, who awarded him a significant parcel of conquered land in Connacht. The Blakes have gone on to become significant figureheads in their community and have upheld their position for a few hundred years. Okay, Melanchthons. I've already looked up. Lucid dreaming. Okay, yeah, that I've already read. Book of Gnosticism, Irish gods, Irish mythology. Look at the veil. Okay, that's already something I read. Okay, smithing gods. Let's see. The goddess Breed, old Irish goddess of healing, poetry, the heart, smithing, and much else besides. The goddess Ankalik. No idea if I pronounced that right, probably not. A goddess, a hag, and diviner, whose domains are cold winds and winter. Okay. Odin, the god Gornu, ancient Irish god of smithing and hospitality. Yeah, that was him. Ah, the goddess Anne Morgan. Okay, I don't remember where, but I have encountered the goddess Anne Morgan somewhere in some form of storytelling. Not sure if it was a movie, a TV show, a book. Might have been a movie. The War Witch of the Tuatha De Danann was the goddess of war, wealth, and death. Crows are her symbol. I wonder what came of all these gods. Okay, let's see if there's... Edward Blake, the man who built the original manor back in the 1650s. It looks to have been extended many times over since. Okay, still the Blake... again, the Blake family. Good. Nothing of that. There was something in here that cost me time, I believe, that I've already looked up. I believe I looked up the Great Famine. Okay. As long as it doesn't cost me time, we can do some reading. Keening, or lamenting over the dead, is an ancient custom practiced in Ireland, with origins tracing back to Eastern nations. Ah! The lady behind me. Ooh. I was thinking, she does that because she has a lot of mementos for dead family members. Maybe if I'm lucky, she has a strong connection to St. Bridget. That would help me a lot right now. I have to talk to her. The Irish word for keening, sina, closely resembles the Hebrew sina, both meaning lamentation or weeping, with clapping of hands. Traditionally, Irish bards led the funeral songs that addressed the deceased genealogy, rank positions, virtues, and vices. But over time, hired mourners, often women, took over. Till about the middle of the last century, the custom was very genuinely adhered to in Ireland, as well in families of the highest condition, as among those of the lower orders. Of late years, the custom has fallen greatly into disuse, and is now of rare occurrence, except in some very old families and among the peasantry, and has become more of a wordless, mournful cry. Okay, the Great Freeze. In the winter of 1739, a violent storm hit Ireland. The resultant drop in temperature was so drastic that liquids froze indoors. There are no official records of how cold it got, but some measurements taken by enthusiasts claim it dropped as low as minus 20 degrees. That's probably Celsius, if I had to guess. I don't know if that lines up historical, but I like historical if that is like the right time. But I know there was a time in Europe that is referred to as the Small Ice Age. There was a small ice age sometime in I don't know where, the Middle Ages, early Renaissance. Now, I don't know if 18th century is right or if that was earlier. But I also remember watching history documentaries about German cities like Hamburg, where it was said, yeah, a lot this like the city, like a lot of people migrated to the city from the land during this like a certain time periods because of the small ice age and because it was so cold, especially in the winters, and really hard to survive as a farmer. But I don't know if that matches up this year, or if this was just a winter that was very brutal in Ireland, or maybe some Arctic cold reached the Irish Islands and caused these really low temperatures. Okay, you have the slaughter. The first of Ireland's 3 famines, crop and herd damage from the Great Freeze, resulted in massive shortage in milk and food. Records suggest that as high as 20% of the then population died, with a higher proportion of lives lost in the Great Famine nearly a century later. Okay, the tsunami of 1755, massive earthquakes in Portugal sent a tsunami north that hit the southern and western parts of Ireland. It seems to have reached as far up as Connemara, where this manor is built. Untold thousands died here from the tsunami. The earthquake itself claimed the lives of over 300,000. Oh, sorry, of lives of over 100,000. Okay, but 100,000 and 300,000 is the earthquake itself. I don't remember ever hearing of that. An earthquake in Portugal, so massive, it claimed over 100,000 lives and caused a tsunami that hit Ireland. Jesus Christ. I mean, if that's true, I mean, so far, like, I believe I've heard about the Great Famine before, as a part of Irish history. So I don't think it's completely made up. Just wait since they are from that's one we already population relied to survive England, yeah. And a lot of people migrated to America and more, yeah, probably also to Brazil. Okay, what about standing stones? Standing stones, or menhir, are large, deliberately placed stones found around the world, but especially in Ireland. There's no consensus on the purpose of standing stones. I mean, that's probably a stupid comment to make, but maybe the purpose is to stand around. Now, probably have like religious purposes. Actually, just as a marking would be weird, right? Just as an orientation point. I mean, maybe that as well. You never know. There are no records for detailing it, nor any surviving traditions that can be reliably traced. However, there are several theories as to their purpose. Those most commonly held would deposit that they marked the boundaries of territories, or that they had ritual significance to old Druidic religion. Some menhir, clochfada in the Irish tongue, are found to be inscribed with long forgotten and therefore indiscernible language. Okay, that's Irish history again, so probably, yeah, just the same stuff. World history, okay, let's go. Captain of the Forest. Capitaine Domato, which translates to Captain of the Forest, were free men, usually of limited financial means, tasked with hunting and recapturing escaped slaves in Brazil. The main job was to return fugitives to their masters and to destroy Colombo settlements, receiving monetary rewards in return. Most capitanes Domato were freed slaves themselves, which put them above slaves but still low in social prestige and made them resented by captives. Despite their authority, they were generally looked down upon and remained close to the social position of those they pursued. Look up the Quilombolas. Quilombolas are settlements established by escaped Afro-Brazilian slaves. Many of the settlement's residents live in poverty. These communities originated during the 16th century in Brazil when Afro-Brazilian slaves fled brutal conditions on sugar plantations in Brazil. It is said that Aquiltun, an Angolian princess and general who was enslaved during a Congolese war, escaped with some of her soldiers and founded Palmares, which is one of the largest quilombos in Brazil. Okay, like the Brazilian Revolt. The Brazilian naval revolts were led by Admiral Custódio José de Melo and Saldanha da Gama against President Floriano Peixoto's rule. The tension started in November 1891 and resulted in a 7-month-long revolt that ended in March 1894. With many naval ships in the hands of rebels, the government resorted to forming an improved fleet called the Paper Fleet to respond. This turmoil resulted in bloody conflict across Brazil. Okay. Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell? In world history? In world history. Instrumental in the execution of King Charles I, and the brief period in England became a commonwealth in the 1600s. Even in his homeland, Cromwell was a controversial figure, infamous for his ban on the celebration of Christmas among many such joyful activities, as they were thought to distract from the worship of God. While widely disliked in England, his legacy in Ireland is significantly darker and more bloody. In what became known as the Cromwellian Conquest, Cromwell led what amounted to a massacre across Ireland in the form of a conquest. He spared no quarter, going so far as to order the deaths of even those who had sheltered in churches, such as in the Siege of Drogheda. Carnival. Carnival is a lively celebration that going from that to the carnival. That's a jump. It's a lively celebration that emphasizes the joy of life before the Christian season of Lent. Unlike Mardi Gras, Carnival is not limited to just one day, spanning from January to March, with festivities culminating on the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. The celebrations are marked by vibrant floats, elaborate costumes, and massive parades, with the rhythm, participation, and style of costumes differing from region to region. Okay, flora and fauna. I believe I can only look up that flower, the white heather, yeah? Heather is found in abundance across Scotland, especially in the drier headlands. There are several types, though the most common and therefore most iconic is common heather, also known as ling. Isn't that one lady called ling? Ling is typically a pink-purple color, but a much rarer variety of ling with white flowers is also to be observed growing in the region. Okay, so this lady is probably Scottish. White heather is associated with battle and conflict, but is thought to bring good luck to anyone who carries it. One common usage of white ling with this superstition in mind is its inclusion in bridal bouquets. Okay, that matches the young lady who desperately, for some reason, desperately wants to marry. I think she needs to marry. think I've already read all of these. Look up. Okay, that already I read. I know that. Psychology. There's lucid dreaming here, I believe. Dreams and lucid dreaming. Yeah. Yeah, I already read those. Geography. Great collection of works on world geography and geographical features. Oh boy. Okay, not feeling that right now. World mythology. Books on the various mythologies across the world through the focus is heavily on the classics and Egypt. Oh, look at vampires. Undead humans who survive by draining the blood of the living. A common supernatural element in most European cultures. Examples include the Albanian Striga, Greek Vrykolakas, Romanian Strugoi, and Irish Aparter. I probably pronounced all of that wrong. I'm sorry. The Irish Aparter was called a dwarf for its childlike proportions. Despite its anger and bloodthirst, its subjects were drawn to it as if under a spell. They are nigh impossible to kill, being vulnerable only to wood from the yew tree. Even then, once killed, it needs to be buried upside down and weighted down with stones of such a size that it would take at least 5 good men to move it. For these reasons, it's said that once a land is plagued by an apartheid, they are never to truly be free from it, that it will return to feed on generation after generation. Collection of books on the 4 cycles of Irish mythology are here, alongside the ranks of supernatural sites and entities. Fate of the Gods, okay. The Battle of Tel Tui was a fierce battle fought between the two of the Danann and the Milesians that lasted many days and saw both sides using underhanded tactics. Eventually, after too much loss, a truce was reached and it was agreed that the land would be split evenly between both parties. To show their goodwill, the gods let the Milesians choose their half first. But the Milesians tricked the gods, for when it was their time to pick, they picked the top half. The gods, true to their word, accepted the deal and moved underground to Tir Nok, part of the other world, to live with the Fae. The Milesians are a tribe of mankind, a word for the ancient Irish, I suppose, from which many of us are descended. Led here thousands of years ago by 3 chieftain brothers, Finn, Amagen, and Iramon, who were said to be powerful sorcerers. They clashed with the old gods, the Tooth and the Danann, and reached truce after much fighting. They agreed to split the land in half between them, but the Milesians took the gods and picked the top half. That's when the gods disappeared underground and mankind settled this land. Okay, look up Tir Nok. I can't find anything. It looks like any books on it have been taken away. I should ask around for more information. Yeah, it cost me some time. Section Irish folklore and ghost tales. beans, the beans are often anglicized as Banshee. It's a fair woman who portends death. She's often said to appear in a grey cloak and green dress, with eyes red from crying. To hear her keening means there will soon be death in one's life, typically on that same night, and frequently of a loved one or family member. Tourniquets. Towards the end of October and with the approach of Halloween, it is not uncommon to see carved lanterns adorning doorsteps and windowsills. In Ireland and Scotland both, there is a long-held tradition of carving a face into turnips and putting a lit candle inside them. The tradition is thought to stem from the Irish folktale of Stingy Jack, a spirit bared from both heaven and hell and forced to walk the earth eternally. Whether this is true or not, these carved turnips are thought to serve a practical purpose. It is thought that on Halloween night the veil between life and death is thin and spirits walk to earth, many with ill intent. These turnips are carved into grotesque faces and lit as lanterns to ward off any spirits that would do the living harm. I see means people of the Mount, which covers all entities that come from the other world. This covers the Faefolk, the old gods, and any of the other range of creatures from that place. For some, ghosts are also included as the other world encompasses the Irish land of the dead. The Fae themselves range in power from godlike, legendary figures to the types more thought to commonly occur and roam the landscape, often looking to cause mischief or harm, such that to invite their attention is considered bad luck. The nature of the Fae, as with humanity, varies by instance, but an estimate can be made by the type of Fae in question. Some look to cause harm, some are portents of ill tidings, but do not seem to cause it themselves. And some, though these cases are occasional, may even be beneficial to those encountering them. Regardless, it is widely held that the safest course of interaction with the Fae is not to interact with them at all. The Fiagorta, literally a man of hunger, is a type of apparition that is linked to the Great Famine, but there are alternate accounts that consider it an omen of further famines to come. Taking the form of a starving person, the Fiagorta is a spirit of hunger who will follow people to ask for food. Should it catch its prey, it will not hesitate to consume to satisfy its hunger. Always unsuccessful in quenching its hunger, it then seeks out a new victim. Washerwoman? The washerwoman or the bean knight is an instance of the other folk providing unwelcome news without exhibiting aggression or violence. The apparition is said to appear before battle, where she will be seen washing the bloody armor of those who die, as if they are already dead. It is said she appears at battlegrounds as she feeds off of grief. She was washing a green shawl, wasn't she? Miss Monterani has a shawl like that. Maybe she's one person we can't save. Even if we completely stop the seance and get everyone else out of danger. It said she appears at battlegrounds, perhaps as she feeds off of grief. Perhaps this is why she shows visions of those to die. I believe we also had, in the records. Haven't found a new sigil in ages. Yeah. Here we have it as well. That green shawl. Ay, ay, ay. Map of Ireland, one of Connacht, the regional hotels it's in. circumsections are carefully marked out. Okay, spiritualism. Makes of guides and spiritual matters, guides for making contact, and the records, supposedly real encounters with after. If you want to look up. Oh boy! That's a long list. Look at the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. To the lay person, not much is known about the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, henceforth the Golden Dawn. It is a secret magical society founded in England, although it is rumored to have further branches. Reportedly, the Golden Dawn's focus is on divine magic and spiritual development, though the specifics of this are unknown. Despite the Golden Dawn's enigmatic nature, its members may be recognized by its symbol. A Latin cross with a rose in its center and a pentagram and several alchemical symbols on each arm. Tarot cards, originally a type of card deck used for various Italian games. The tarot card was later adopted by the French for use in divination or cartomancy. This being a publication unconcerned with such mundane issues as simple card games, we will disregard the traditional use for its magical cousin. A tarot deck consists of 78 cards and 2 arcana, 21 major arcana being face cards, and the minor arcana being suits. The minor arcana is divided into 4 suits: wands, swords, cups, and coins, and consists of cards of numbers 1 to 10 and 4 court cards. Each major arcana has specific meaning, as does every suit and its cards therein, and every card has another meaning again if drawn in the reverse position. Tarot cards are to be drawn one by one in formation and read with consideration of their individual meaning and their position in the draw. They are typically consulted in matters of love and fortune, but can be asked about many things, and in general are favored for their versatility. Got the second side. The second side is a skill possessed by some that allows them to know of the future or events far from them they should rightly have to no knowledge of. It can also refer to the ability to see the dead. In Scotland, it is thought to run in families, especially those in the Highlands, and while the information gleaned through this mystic sense can be useful, it can also be harrowing. Sight alone does not mean understanding, nor can dark visions or the future necessarily be averted, though those with the sight are often compelled to try. Seances. A seance is a ritual used to speak with the dead, typically hosted by a spirit medium, but attended and aided by a number of guests. A spirit is called upon by the medium and asked questions. It will answer them through physical means, such as moving a glass on a board. Though audible means, such as knocking, or if one is so lucky, by the position of one of those at the table. In this case, the spirit is frequently able to articulate itself better, although many may find it to be a distressing sight. Seances are typically used by still living loved ones to speak to those they have lost, or to divide secrets known only to the dead. Ghosts. There is much debate over the true nature of ghosts, even their existence in the first place, but there are 2 major prevailing theories. The first is that a ghost is a remnant of a person, a soul that, for whatever reason, has not passed on. This sort of ghost is typically attributed to the need for some desire of the soul, or the person it was, to be sated, be it revenge, ambition, or love. In a similar vein, they frequently cling to some object or place of importance, unable to complete whatever business holds them there in their new state. A secondary, less discussed, but widely credited theory of the cause of apparitions is the manifestation of emotion or trauma. In this theory, it is thought that human beings are capable of impairing such emotions, that it forever affects the location that witnesses it. In these cases, it is not the spirit itself that haunts a place, but the event, typically a harrowing death, imprints itself upon the space. these theories are not exclusive and could very well exist alongside each other. Such is the prevalence of spirits that it seems unlikely both are not true. Or mystics. There exists among us a certain people predisposed to sensing and invoking the ebb and flow of the spiritual world and its denizens. These people, often called mystics, as indeed I will refer to them here, possess a unique capability. They are able to sense the supernatural and otherworldly, and in doing so provide means of communication with it, often using themselves as the go-between. This is most commonly achieved by invoking a trance or otherwise altered state through spell, prayer, or ritual, and inviting either a spirit, a higher power, or a denizen from another world to speak through them. Okay, almost done. Feathers. Soul trapping, or the unwillful binding of souls to inanimate objects, is a phenomenon that has been recorded throughout history and across the known world. One such instance occurred during an expedition to Egypt conducted by Lord Thomas Blake of Doon. A number of what locals termed soul jars were unearthed near a tomb and were brought to Dublin by Lord Blake for further examination. In a drunken stupor, Lord Blake's young apprentice, Harry Arnold, cracked his skull on an ancient tablet in Blake's office and died almost immediately. Lord Blake, upon hearing the lad's anguished screams, ran to the office to find his apprentice's lifeless corpse bleeding out onto the bench. The screams, he soon realized, were coming from one of the soul jars, and to quell the wailing, Blake ordered that jars to be destroyed. Elsewhere in the world, there are stories of the souls of the recently departed being tied to objects of strong motion and significance. These objects, known as feathers, can take any form. Feathers as small as a needle and as large as a carriage have been documented across the world. Some spiritualists theorize that even entire buildings or areas of land can, under specific circumstances, become feathers, though no evidence of such a phenomenon has been found thus far. Others disagree with this assertion. They argue that the force of emotion needed to tie souls to something as large as a building or as intangible as an area of land would be, frankly, inhuman. Okay, since I'm basically almost there, let's read these as well. Construction on Blake Castle began in 1652 on land awarded to the veteran soldier Edward Blake. It was a matter of no small undertaking or finance, and the work continued over generations. It is said that the manor was built on ground the local residents considered to have once been sacred, but records of this do not exist. The Connaught region. The westernmost province of Ireland, once a collection of kingdoms and site of and witness to two of the most terrible battles in Irish history. While interceded with significant periods of peace, Connaught has a history of warfare. Party to the Irish rebellion against the crown, aided by French forces, the backdrop of the Cromwellian conquest, Connaught is a much contested stronghold of Irish culture. Ulster region. The northernmost province of the four provinces of Ireland, and once the heart of the Gaelic world, today Ulsters hold the greatest population of Protestants and loyalists to the crown after the country of Ireland was adopted into the United Kingdom in 1801. Ulster was previously a region of importance to Irish sovereignty, it being the seat of power from where one of the 5 king above kings would rule. Belfast is the largest city in the region, on the border of countries Antrim and Down, and is a significant centre of populace in Ireland as a whole. Okay, Munster. The southernmost province of Ireland's 4 provinces, Munster, was where the most of St. Patrick's work bringing Christianity to Ireland took place. With this and several cities, Cork and Waterford among them, founded by Viking settlers, Munster has long had a tradition of transformative visitations. Not least of these being the colonization of the region by the English in the 16th century, a most significant venture by the Crown. And Leinster region, the last one. The easternmost province of Ireland, Leinster, was home to many Celtic tribes, most notably the Linging, to which the province owes its name. This region houses a collection of small kingdoms and dynasties, with the Hill of Tara in particular, located in Meath, later named Meath. Or Meath? Holding significant spiritual and political power as the seat of the High Kings of Ireland. Vikings made their arrival to Ireland and by the mid-9th century had transitioned from raiding to settling, with Dublin being their most significant settlement, serving as a major trade centre and later becoming a Norse Gaelic kingdom. This would not last, as the Vikings were later driven out by native Irish rulers. Leinster has seen a long history of territorial battles, ranging from the arrival of Anglo-Normans in the late 12th century, leading to the broader invasion of English forces, to a Gaelic resurgence in the Middle Ages, followed by the Tudors solidifying English control over Ireland by the 16th century. More recently, the Cromwellian conquest landed in Dublin with 12,000 troops and travelled north to begin an assault that would later be known as the Siege of Drogheda, or the Drogheda Massacre, its surviving rebels being transported to the overcrowded Gaol of Gundalk, where they were left to starve and die. This would only be the beginning of Oliver's devastating campaign on Irish soil. Campaign, not companion. Okay.
If you'd hold a moment, I'm just looking for something.
Are you all right, miss?
Fine. Just looking for a book. I know I had it just a few days ago, but now it's nowhere to be found. Without it, damn it! I'm at a dead end. Would you tell me if you see it? It's a book on local land records from late last century. It has to be around here somewhere, unless another guest's taken it?
I found it.
Actually, I believe I might have the records you're looking for.
Wait, you... Ha! Look at that, you do indeed. Where was it?
Miss Barbosa had it.
How did she get it? Of course. I loaned it to her during tea and then forgot. Too many late nights researching. Speaking of which, on page 78 and... Oh, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, sir. You've helped me a lot. I don't know why you would, but you have. I haven't seen you before the incident with the bird, unless I'm wrong.
Rest assured, miss, we haven't met. My name's Declan Ward. I've only arrived recently.
Even then, I could still have missed you if you hadn't come by the library, I mean. Anyhow, I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Ward. My name is Quarantine Quinn. You can call me Quarantine, and I might now owe you a favour. But for now, thank you sincerely. And do please excuse me, I have work to do.
You just had something behind. Okay, too bad she left. What is Miss Quinn planning? Find the body of water? What? Okay, a body of water here. Thinking immediately the fountain. And we have a little bit of water at the stables. Okay, then let me go to the bar now in the last 8 minutes. I know. Or should I go look for... Okay, she's still here. Body of water. Yeah, I mean, other than the fountain? Also, I want to go and try something. Yeah, but first... I think I will end the episode right here. I ended up doing research after all. But yeah. That happened. But that's lots of reading, lots of information. I'm gonna take a sip. And we're gonna continue this next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it may be for you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!